they had a Class D workers program where they would go out in the community and work. And we didn't hold any federal people there. It was just city and state inmates.
Interesting. So you said everything was good for like 2 months. Is that what you said, or 10?
Yeah, 2.
Okay. So
Everything was good.
yeah, you go. You tell me what what happened after those 2 months.
So in October was when I call him Hunter got transferred to my facility from another facility into the Class D workers program. Like the ones that go out in the public and they pick up trash off the side of the road and do like if there's a festival in town, they'll help like set that up and stuff.
Okay.
And I was up in booking just helping them do, because you had all your detoxes up there, you had all your mental health holds up there, and you had protective custody up there. So you'd have to do rounds at certain intervals. Like if they were on an aliving watch, you'd have to do every 5 minutes. Detox was every 10 minutes. And just stuff, and then other medical checks in different pods. So they get busy. They brought like 15 different inmates in. And so I helped them do some observations and stuff, and then I went back to the back, and he gets moved into the pod or whatever, and I do my round, and he was like, oh, hey, asked me questions about like when he would get his property and stuff, and I was like, it's got to go through everything, and then he was like, okay, and so I noticed that, because I would work second shift, so he was typically 3 to 11, but then you'd have overtime. Like a lot of times I'd work till 3 a.m., sometimes all the way up to 7 a.m. And sometimes I'd have to go in at 11 a.m. And so I was working 12 to 18-hour shifts most weeks. The last 2 weeks I worked there, I worked almost 74 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, never stayed staffed. We'd get some people in, and then people would quit or they'd get fired, and I think at one time we had 4 people on my shift. That was it. So they would always have to make someone from the first shift come in late, stay late, or have third shift come in early.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just all burnt out and overworked. But anyway, I noticed that when I was working my late shifts, because he was sleeping in the room of the pod, he didn't have a cell because
that's what we're learning, Miss Stoked.
Yeah.
Sorry. We're starting from the beginning here, y'all.
Yeah. It takes place over like a year, so I'm not gonna like drag it out.
No, I want to hear everything. I want all the details. I want it all, everything. This is Lifetime. We're going in. They said floor sleeper.
Yeah,
What does that mean?
Yeah, so he was sleeping in like a boat, so it's just like a little plastic thing that would keep him from sleeping on the actual floor. And so he would always be sleeping under the TV, and I noticed that he would stay awake until I went home, and then he'd go to sleep. And then, like I said, not long after that, I found out my dad's diagnosis, and I came in one day, and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, nah, I'm just going through some stuff, but I'm good, And he kept like asking me and asking me and asking me, and he finally just wore me down. And I was like, well, found out my dad has cancer, and he was like, oh, I'm sorry. I lost my dad in 2019, so I understand how you feel. And I was like, okay. And then I just kept going. And after dinner, you'd have to do trash detail. So they'd bring 5 of the workers to come out, and you take dumpsters out to the dumpster. So you escort them to do that. And he would always make sure he came out when I did it. Like, no matter what. He was like the first one to come out. And I was just sitting there, and I was like, okay, I guess he just wants to get some more fresh air, whatever. I'm not going to complain about it. I can get my job done, go take my break, get some nicotine in, because you can't take any of that in the facility with you. You got to leave it out in your car. And a couple hours in there, you get to fiending for some nicotine.
Yeah.
And So one day we was doing the trash detail and he comes up behind me while I was trying to unlock the gate and he slipped something in my pocket and I was just like, dude, like you gotta back up 6 feet. And he was like, well, just don't write me up, just read it first. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I didn't read it until after I got off work and it was just him telling me about himself, like, um, I'm from this place in our state. I'm in here 6.5 years because I took my friend's Jeep when I wasn't allowed to, and then he took police on a police chase through 3 different counties into a different state.
Mm. So
Yeah.
you did. So was that his actual charges though?
Yes. I looked into his story and found like news articles and stuff, and I was like, oh, this actually happened. And he said that the only reason why he crashed was because he didn't know that the road was going to end because he hadn't been up there before.
Well, how? So be honest. How'd you feel when you got that note?
Honestly, I was like,
I mean, you're already charged with it, so at this point, it's like whatever.
at first I was a little weirded out. I was like, dude, like, why are you trying to get to know me? You're an inmate, I'm an officer, like, I'm not crossing that line. I was very adamant. And so, like, I tore the note up and made sure I threw it away. Didn't throw it away at my facility, though. Threw it away in some random trash can by a store or something. And I was just sitting there like really confused. And the next day I worked, I went in there and I told him, I said, nah, I said, we're not doing this. You know, you're an inmate, I'm an officer, I have a family I got to think about. I'm not losing my freedom for you. But
So, did you have kids or anything at that time?
yeah, I have 4 kids altogether. My kids are 14, 13, 3, and 2.
Okay. So,
Teenagers are girls.
okay. So, when you went back to work, you told him this, like in person?
Yeah, because I wasn't gonna write him back.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here like looking at him like, dude, like we're not crossing these lines. You know, I'll talk to you, be chill with you in the pod and everything, but we're not doing this. Like this is not. But he didn't let it up. He would still, you know, make sure he came out every trash detail. Like anytime could try to get my attention to just to get a glance of me or something. And so
So, did you find him attractive at first?
not at first, just because I didn't like the way his hair was.
Was it the fact that he was an inmate? It was just the hair. I'm just kidding. That's so. I mean, so do you feel like he took advantage of you? Like he knew you were in a vulnerable spot and he thought that he could break that down?
Absolutely. Because at the time, mine and my fiance's relationship wasn't good.
Oh,
We were
I didn't know
just,
you had a fiance. That adds to it. so,
yeah,
so is that the person you're with now?
yeah,
Oh. Oh, this gets deeper. So it's the same person you're with now. Okay.
yeah.
So I'm going to have to remember because I want to know like how he felt when this happened. So, okay. So he's still, inmate is still, what are we calling him? What's his name?
Hunter.
Hunter. So Hunter's still going for it. He's
Yes.
got his eyes on the prize.
No, it wasn't a Santos haircut. It was, he had a mullet. And it was like overgrown, and it was bad.
No.
It was a jailhouse mullet that he was trying to pull off for a long time until I finally had a Shelly haircut. Yeah, unfortunately. Anyway, he just kept going and wouldn't back off. And finally, I think it was December. Yeah, it was December. He gave me a note. This is in the front and party in the
That's right.
That's right. It was pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie.
It was pretty bad.
Trying. He kept trying so hard to pull that off too, and I finally just told him, I was like, "You gotta give it up, bro. Like, you gotta give it up." And hopefully, he finally did.
So
But
did he? You just keep going. I'm kind of in and out. I mean, I can hear you. I have my headphone in. I can hear you. I'm just dealing with my littlest wanting to get out of the bed. But so you said we made it to December, and he was still just. So you said he passed another note. What'd that say?
Telling me that he had feelings for me and that I was the most beautiful girl he'd ever laid his eyes on. And sorry if I sound kind of monotone. I'm thinking how dumb it sounds in my brain as I spew it out. He wants me to look up his mom on Facebook, and here's her phone number, and you can call her and ask her all these questions about me, and she'll tell you, and all this stuff. And finally, on one of my days off, I decided to write him back. One of the first dumb decisions I made. There's plenty, don't worry.
There's plenty to go around.
So I started writing him back, telling him, yes, it's always the mama, telling him about how I grew up and how many kids I had, and just talking about some of my trauma I'd went through, because he shared some trauma with me in his note, and just letting him know why I am the way I am sometimes, and was talking to him about my dad. And yeah, I wrote him back. I know. Like I said, one of the first dumb decisions I made. So,
did the notes get found?
No.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, because I had someone that I knew that was an inmate in the facility, and he worked in the laundry, so he was able to facilitate the note passing a lot of times.
Oh, y'all had So, I mean, no one around you besides the inmates knew? There were no other corrections officers that were suspicious?
Well, funny you say that, because it's a part I forgot about it. In November, a coworker turned me in to the higher ups, saying that they suspected a relationship between me and him. But at the time, there was nothing going on, because I wasn't responding to him in the way that he wanted me to. So I got put up front for about a week and a half. I couldn't work in the back. One of my higher ups was like, well, they didn't suspend you or anything, so you're good. Just let them go through this investigation. There's nothing going on, you'll be good. And I get called into the office one day, and they tell me, oh, well, we finished our investigation. He was talking about an officer in his text messages that he was talking to, but he told us it was from his old facility. So, we made the appropriate phone call and everything to report her, but we don't think that they believed us. And so I got cleared of any wrongdoing.
Oh, nice. So then you still went ahead. That would have scared the shit out of me. I would be scared to do anything at that point.
I mean, I was kind of worried.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy though, because like most of the time, this is why they don't put men at the women's facilities and men at the, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, vice versa, so that this type of thing doesn't happen. But where are you? Yeah, I mean, if you don't care, where are you located? What state?
I'm in Kentucky.
Okay. Just curious. Sorry. So, see, yeah, I know. I told y'all when she told me this story, I was like, oh no, you coming on, girl. We got to talk about this. So, okay. So you passed the note back, and was it before or after that? Was this before anything had happened when someone like kind of thought that was going on?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
before that. It was in November, and I didn't start writing him back until December.
Okay. So what happened next after you wrote
Heart,
him back?
Heart, I'm in Kentucky. So, another bad decision's about to come out. So, he gave me, so the facility had these devices that if they put money on it, they could text on them, but that's the only thing they could do. They couldn't send pictures, they couldn't make phone calls on it. It was literally, you couldn't even send emojis in the messages. It was literally just texting. And so it'd be 10 cent a message to send and 10 cent a message to receive. And you can put up from anywhere from $15 to $100 on there. And once they run out, they have to put more money on there. So he gave me the number to that device, and I resisted that for about a week and a half to 2 weeks. Finally, I made a text now number.
Not the damn text now numbers.
I knew you was gonna say that as soon as I said it.
It's always trouble. If we got to use a text now number, y'all, we probably shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. So I made a number and a completely different area code, and we came up with this little cover story that I was this chick named Courtney who lived in Owensboro, and he had just gotten recently back in contact with her because he knew her before he got locked up and all that, and she worked in a factory, and we was trying to basically like throw everything off. Like, he didn't say my name in the text messages or anything. He wasn't to talk about anything that would identify me, even to his mom, because he kind of told his mom a little bit about what was going on, but he didn't go into detail with that. It's getting dark.
It is a hell of an alter ego, and I work in a factory. I would have at least been like, well, never mind, I can't say that word. I was going to say ripper. I would have like made up some like really crazy story. Courtney the factory worker. I like it. Sorry. So y'all were texting.
I like your commentary.
I love a good backstory. Yeah. So y'all were texting. So were you putting money down for these texts?
His mom would put the money on there. Sometimes I would still send her money on Cash App to put it on there.
Interesting. So, I mean, how often were y'all texting?
Any chance that we got.
Would you text while you were because could he use the phone at any time?
Yeah, he could use the chirp device at any time, but we wouldn't text when I was at work, obviously. It would be when I was home, mostly. Like, he would text me, but I would never respond because I would leave my phone in the car.
So, I mean, so y'all just started bonding because y'all were texting a lot and you were seeing him pretty
Mama Bear, what
frequently.
was charged again?
Oh, they're saying what were his charges again?
It was receiving stolen property, fleeing and evading, and he got charged that in like 3 different counties, and
Oh,
charged
damn.
in the other state too, because he went, like I said, he went through 3 different counties and into another state.
Dang.
Yeah, I should have texted while working. Yeah, we'll get to that.
We'll get, we're not there yet. We're not
We're not there yet. We still got like a couple months.
So, I mean, were you initially just being friendly or was it immediately to like, hey, we like each other?
At that point, I had told him that I was attracted to him in a note, and so when we started texting, it was immediately like romantic. Yeah. like I said, there's a long list of bad decisions here.
Okay, so you had a fiance at the time too. So were you just living a double life?
Pretty much. I would have the app silenced so where no notifications would come up whenever my fiance would be around. And I also found out in a later fight that while I was working at the facility, my fiance had another woman in the house and
Ooh,
slept with her in our bed.
ooh, that's rough. So did Hunter know you had a fiance?
Yes, because one day, because he knew what car I drove to the facility, so he's seen that out,
They
and
said the nerve. Can't believe the fiance did that. The hell.
right, all charges dismissed.
That's right. All charges. This woman was being cheated on. This is forgiven.
Poor Courtney, the fact.
Poor Courtney. Poor Courtney. She's going through so much. So he knew you had a fiance?
Yeah, he seen him while he was picking up trash off the road one day, go to dollar store by our house.
Oh,
And
interesting.
he seen what he looked like. Thank you all for the gift. Sorry, I'm not really looking at my phone and paying attention.
So how did he know it was him?
Because he knew the car that I drove. And we shared a car at the time. So he seen him in that car and he was like, hey, does he look like this? And I was like, yeah. He was like, well, I seen him today. He was leaving dollar store.
That's crazy.
I was like, oh, okay.
So
that's
did
not
you
weird.
just think because like there was no way that these paths were going to cross? Like, is that what it felt like at the time? That like you wouldn't be able to get caught because, you know, that was like it almost like really how far could the jail stuff go? Because he's in jail, you know, he's going to be there for 6 years or so. Like, were you just not really that concerned about it, or was it eating you up inside?
It was, I was kind of chill about it, but at the same time, while I worked at the facility, I was really nervous. But after I lost my job and stuff, it wasn't as hard on me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, okay, so where were we at in the thing? He saw your fiance. And so how long? So y'all started texting in December? Was that what you said?
Yes.
So how long? I mean, at what point was it ever physical? Was it ever?
We did not have intercourse, no.
Did y'all do other things?
I'm gonna get to that.
Okay, get to it. I need to know what bases we hit. That's all I'm saying. I need to know what was going on. This is like you should write a book. This would be one of those good, like, I can't say the word, but I'm gonna say mutt
Smut?
books. Yeah, like that. That'd be a good book. People would read the hell out of that. Girl, write you a book. They would love it. We are nosy bitches. Yes, a
That's
spicy
okay.
book. It'd be a good the corrections officer and the inmate. She was down bad because her man cheated on her, and she was just so upset, and he was the gentle bad guy that fell in love. See, it's a good book. I'm telling you, write it. Everyone in the comments are saying spicy book. Okay, sorry, I keep interrupting.
I've been told before that I need to write a book, and I've
I'm
thought
telling you.
about it, but I wouldn't know where to start.
I'll know, but if you write it, I'll read it. Fell in love with a bad boy. Exactly. And then he was acquitted of all charges, and they got out and they were happily in love. See, like they would read it. I know y'all would. Y'all nasty. I know y'all would. Y'all ain't got to tell me nothing. I know.
That's funny. That made me choke while I was hitting my vape. That's not right.
You've got a pre-order with me. Oh, that's a good name. Love has no boundaries, even in prison.
had 10 kids, a farm full of cows.
Yes. Oh, that's so
God.
funny. Okay.
That story
Sorry.
is fitting to a lot of us in Kentucky. Yeah.
Oh,
So anyway,
man.
so we text and everything, and at the end of December, I caught the flu. The day that, because they wanted me to be promoted, they wanted to promote me, but they didn't know if I was good enough to be sergeant or just corporal. So I took the sergeant's exam in December and only got beat out by another guy by like 10 points. So I got promoted up to corporal. And that day I took the test, I had the flu and I didn't know it, and I missed a week. And I didn't have any money to give his mom. His mom didn't have any money, so he didn't hear from me. Apparently, he was asking like other people that worked with me if I was okay. And I came back, and he had written me a note every day that I was gone.
Oh, shit. That's how he got you right there.
Yeah, anytime I'd have a day off or anything, if I had one day off, I'd have an extra note. If I had 2 days off, I had 2 notes. Like, he would write to me every single day.
And there's something about notes that, I don't know, it's like a more emotional thing because somebody's taking the time to actually sit down and write that. So were you like keeping all these, or were you disposing of them?
I kept a bunch of them for a while. I hid them in my car. But then once they got to like a big stack, I ripped them up and threw them away.
Smart.
Yeah. So I came back to work January 2nd, and he writes me a note. I now understand Ash just a
I
little.
know, I was reading that too. And then someone said intimate with an inmate sounds like a Lifetime movie. I'm telling girl, a book, a Lifetime movie deal. This is gold. You're going to be rich. I see the dollar signs.
Well, I've thought about it. I really have. So he writes me a note, and he asked me officially to, I guess, be his girlfriend. And like a dumbass, I said, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had a fiance. We're past that. He was a jerk at the time. Wonderful now, jerk at the time.